Let me check.
Okay, the people have to log in.
Yeah,
Yes.
hopefully they do. I'm going to go to it now. They should get notifications that you went live. The ones that are subscribed to you, at least.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
showing that you're live. Okay, cool. Yep, you're on.
Okay. So will people be able to log in and change or no?
Oh, there's 5 people on already. You're good.
Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry about the logging issues. Anyway, for some reason it won't let me in. So welcome. I am so sorry about that. So today's topic is on speak up and ask for what you want. So I see numerous people logging in and would love to hear your questions. So let's see what you have. So how can we speak up and ask for what you want? Hey, Brittany. Hey, Morgan. Nice to have you all. Growing up, my parents were strict and stripped me of my voice. I was not seen and heard. Now I'm 40 and I'm still struggling to find my voice. What advice do you have? That's okay. Great question, Brittany. So when stripped of your voice, you have to think about the age in which you remember those times. So it's important to think, okay, if you were 8 years old and that became an issue, think about what are some of the common things you had to struggle with. So what were some of the beliefs that you struggled with at that point? So let's look at, the beliefs that have trapped you. Um, are you constantly thinking about you're not entitled to have a voice? Are you constantly thinking that when you ask, you will be rejected or you will be told that you won't be able to get it? So it's important to think about how you can rewrite some of your scripts. Some of the scripts could include, what could be the worst case scenario? Um, how can I learn to rewrite my scripts to scripts of courage, using courage to address address change? It's easy to get caught up in the no's, but think about, you know, if people say no, what might be some options? How can you still reinforce your courage and move forward? So use use your new scripts to empower you to move forward. Okay, Jeannie says, okay, all right, Jeannie. Okay, Claudia goes, how can you find balance between asking for what we need and not feeling guilty about it, especially when it comes from environments that says that we have to be quiet? That's an awesome question. So again, the scripting, you have to challenge, these thoughts. You were told to be quiet, you're told to be seen, not heard. So how can you challenge these scripts? Do you constantly believe what other people tell you, or do you challenge it? It is important to think about, now that you're an adult, learn to challenge things that are faulty, that are illogical. It is it is your privilege as an adult to make decisions, to create new templates for you. You don't always have to hide behind the shadow of somebody else's template. So use templates that fits your script. So now that you're an adult, think about what you want to create. You are, when you ask, how can you ask? And then first you have to respect yourself. Trust that you ask and you mean it. You want to follow up with it rather than throw a question and just flounder. So your thoughts, your belief in yourself, and the way you deliver, all those have to align. So if you flounder and you apologize before you even ask, then people will read into that, and then they will know that you are not serious about it. So it's important to start to take yourself seriously and believe that this is what I'm asking for, and believe that, this means a lot. So learn to deliver with confidence. You know, say things like, it means a lot to me when we do this. It helps me when we do this, rather than, I'm sorry, I'm asking about this. Could it be? Then you deliver. So when you ask for something, don't apologize. State your request clearly. Okay, Brittany goes, what are some strategies for speaking up when you feel that you have seen too much aggressiveness, okay, especially in professional and cultural environments that discourage assertiveness? Great question. Yes. Okay. So in this situation, could you be under the cloud of fear, and has fear intimidated you and silenced you? So are you still living in oppression? Are you still living under the belief that if I speak up, I will be punished? If I speak up, things will erupt. So if you're still having that mindset, then it's hard for you to ask. Learn to believe that, I speak up and I am leaning into what I want. It's important for you to remove some of the cloud. As long as those cloud of oppression, the cloud of thinking that you will not get it, there will be big explosive emotions, then you will be intimidated and you will remain intimidated. So always introduce new energy. You don't want fear, you don't want intimidation. You want to use what to power through life. You want to use courage, you want to use belief, you want to use respect, you want to use self-honoring beliefs. So, use these self-believing thoughts to help you navigate relationships. So think about the bigger picture. If oppression and silencing is one of your fears, then learn to address it, deal with it. Talk about it as to your reasons for staying oppressed, your reasons for silencing yourself. So learn to rock the boat a little bit and learn to sort out these feelings. Okay. Janine asks, how do you voice things that an authority figure does not agree with in public setting? Okay, that's a very good question too. So we tend to go with the flow, and that is also a self-silencing behavior. When you go with the flow and you don't speak your truth, then you have also muted yourself. So think about what you want to say and deliver in a way that is professional sounding. I like your idea. I also, would like to share this idea. So you don't have to discount others' idea, but learn to say, my thoughts are this. My belief is this. And I wonder how we can negotiate, how we can implement the two, or how we can, find a best way to address this issue. So always present things in a win-win situation in asking. So even when you work with children or teenagers, don't shoot them down. I don't like that idea. Things, okay, that's a good suggestion. My suggestion is this. So what do you think works best? So offer options, and don't think of it as a win-lose. Think of it as a win-win. Okay, Jaget says, can you share about being assertive without having to defend yourself? That's an awesome question, Jaget. So you can be assertive and go, my points are this, and then learn to state your points in short bullet points. My points are this, A, B, C, and then let people deliver. And many times when you don't defend yourself, the conversation goes differently, because the defensive posture causes us to one up each other. And that sets up the conversation to be a little bit more intense, a little bit more conflictual, and a little bit more competitive. So defensive posture comes from different trainings. It could be that, your defensiveness came in childhood, in teenage years, when you were questioned and you had to provide an answer very promptly and swiftly. So think, defensiveness, is it needed now, or is it something that is a habitual behavior? So learn to share, I appreciate your thoughts, but here are my thoughts. And then you state your point. So hear people out. And when you're put in a place where you cannot make a decision, go, I want to have time to ponder on this. Learn to buy time, learn to slow the train. Okay, Osmara, how do you deal with people who might reject or ignore your request? Great question too. So when people brush you aside, goes, this is what I'm looking for. Learn to restate it. Learn to ask for time to have a conversation. Especially when you work with teens and children, many times they may not hear you, but it's important to go into their space and say, okay, let's have a conversation. It doesn't have to be confrontational. It doesn't have to be rude. Go, let's have a conversation. And when you have eye contact and you speak in a soft tone, people know that you are serious. But when you are yelling, then people know, okay, this is something that I'm going to start to ignore. So people will brush you aside. So the opposite effect is important. When you speak softly and when you're in people's space, in a closed space, and you drop your volume, you say things slowly, then people will hear you more. And even in counseling, we have to ask clients, tell me what you hear me say. I want us to be on the same page. It's not a rude request, but important to ask, what did you hear me say? Do the same thing with children, do the same thing with adolescents. So then ask for their confirmation and always follow up with, this is what I would like to see happen. So let's go do it. If it's a situation at home with children or teens. And use affirming words like, it means a lot to me and I would like to follow up. When is a good time for us to wrap up this issue? When is a good time for us to address this? So don't leave it open-ended. Okay, Brittany goes, how can you tell the difference between persistent versus being pushy when advocating for what you want? Wow, that's a great question. Yes, persistence, being pushy. In respecting yourself, you don't have to be a nag. You don't have to be whiny or doing the circular talk and on and on and on. When you go on and on and on, people will disrespect you because they go, okay, she's just, doing her routine again. So in a respectful situation, when you're persistent, you go, I would like to have a conversation regarding this. And if I don't know if the situation is professional or personal, I would say things like, when's a good time for us to have a conversation? So you set the stage for having a serious conversation. If it's a partner, I have something important to say. I would like for us to have a conversation. And when can we talk? So then you set the stage. And then when you are in the conversation, you state your request clearly. And if you have trouble articulating or delivering your message, learn to write it down and summarize it to a few main points. I'm looking for this. I would like for us to do this. It's important that we do this. So state it and have give that person a chance to state their viewpoint. And learn to summarize, learn to state both points. So the difference in persistence and respecting is it goes hand in hand. So if you find yourself whining, going on and on, not able to deliver your point, that sets you up. So always think about scenarios where you can set yourself up to be successful, to be able to ask and to be able to deliver. Most of a common mistake that I keep seeing is when people ask, they do it in a paragraph form, 2 paragraph forms. That makes it hard for others to hear you. So whatever you want to say, always deliver it in short, sweet sentences so that people can hear you clearly. Okay, Patricia goes, how can we communicate what we want in a professional environment without being demanding or selfish? Okay, very good. So similar to what Brittany asked. So your delivery and how you show up, how you present is very important. When you have escalated emotions, when you have ramped up emotions, and when people see you as emotional and out of control, then people will not work with you. They won't take you seriously. If they do, they will comply for the moment and then they will not deliver. So the same thing, don't use oppression to bring about change. Learn to use respect, self-honoring things, self-honoring behavior, self-honoring scripts. It is important to think about what you want to say. Don't just let things flow out of your mouth and then it be very circular and very unorganized, disorganized. So always sort out your thoughts, put it in bullet points. I like to see us do A, B, C. I like it when you help with, the chores. It's important to me that we do this together. It is important to me that we finish this project. So state your request in a win-win situation. You state it with, it is important to me, and then you ask, for the finished product, meaning it's important for us to work together so we can successfully wrap up this project. So don't state a request in a complaint form because people don't know what you want. So when you state your request in a definitive form and in a positively stated form, people are more likely to comply. Okay, Brittany asks, I think this is my last question, okay? Why do so many people, especially women and marginalized groups, struggle with asking for what they want, even when they have earned it? What does that fear come from? Where does that fear come from? It comes from years of self-grooming and other grooming. So people may have said this, you as a female have no right. You are to be seen and not heard. And then we take it seriously and then we buy into that faulty logic. We buy into that faulty script. And then it sets us up because we then keep thinking we are not supposed to ask for what we want. We are supposed to comply. We are supposed to give in. And so when we nurture this faulty logic, this illogical scripts, that's what we do to set us up. So we have nurtured 30 years, 40 years of unhealthy scripting. And that makes it hard for us to then break the mold because we have already lived in oppression. Because oppression is not just other oppression, it's self-oppression. Disrespecting is also the same thing. It's not others disrespecting us, it's us disrespecting ourselves. So think about how you want to rewrite your scripts. If you're living in a cloud of oppression and you are, tying your own hands, think about the importance of doing that to yourself. Many times when we do things and we fail, it's because it's like, how did we set ourselves up to fail? And how did we set ourselves up when we don't ask in a way that is self-respecting? So learn to ask, learn to respect yourself, learn to deliver in short, sweet request. It does not have to be 2 paragraphs. It does not have to be 5 paragraphs. It cannot be in a complaint form. So learn to deliver in tones that is going to set you up for success. Learn to start asking with small things first. Don't ask for the moon, ask for the little things in a daily way so that you can practice it. And when you see yourself having success, then you will feel encouraged. And if you're learning to ask, start small steps, start with small steps and learn to do it with people that you feel safe about, in friendships. And then learn to state requests with coworkers. So doing gradual changes is what is important. All right, it is our 30 minutes have, come, and I really appreciate the questions. You have a lot of good questions. Let me see. Okay. So again, I am going to wrap up by saying that next week, our topic is how do you escape the grip of depression? So come prepared with questions, and I hope that my login will be smoother next week. All right. Thank you so much for attending, and I really appreciate all the thought-provoking questions. So this YouTube, again, is sponsored by Laurel Ridge, and I'm going to share with you some of the services. Laurel Ridge is a behavioral health program. It offers compassionate care for every stage of life. It provides personalized treatment for all populations. Their interest is to help you into your journey of wellness. So they offer services for children, adolescents, adults, military dependents, active duty members, veterans, and first responders. They have inpatient, outpatient, substance abuse, residential treatment. Call 210-491-3591 for no-cost assessment. And Laurel Ridge is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their mission is to save lives, heal family, and create hope. And thank you for your attendance, and learn to ask for what you want this week. Start with a small step and keep using that same step throughout the week. So enjoy a successful week and hope to see you next week.